So like I was saying, today's topic is going to further on lessons, updates, and plans from the effective altruism community in Nigeria. Okay. And we have here with us Daniel Elabi, who I said is a community builder and who has started EA Nigeria. So without further ado, I will just move on to show you the outline for the day. So we've done the introduction. The speaker's talk will take just between 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll move on into discussions. If you have any questions or contributions, you can just ask, and then we'll just sign off with a quick announcement. Yeah, so that's how it's going to be like. So I have already introduced Daniel, and he's on the call. So Daniel, you can give me the goal. Our topic for today, like I said, our topic for today is lessons, updates, and plans from the effective altruism community in Nigeria. Hi, Daniel.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear
Hi,
me?
I can hear you, and I hope everyone can as well.
I hope everyone can hear. Yeah, happy to be on this call. We'll be going into the presentation. Uh, yeah, so happy to be here. When I saw the topic, I told Estelle earlier that it felt like the EA Nigeria board was summoning me to get reports, on how we're progressing. But yeah, I also see how this can be of value to everyone who is on this call. And yeah, the flyer had me with hair. I don't have hair now, so please still me. Um, I think I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I went to the salon 2 days ago, and that was when it dawned on me that I should have waited until after this talk. But sorry, guys, it's still me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So lessons, our plans, and just updates about EA Nigeria. I hope that you are able to like the perspective, my perspective and presentation. You are able to get value and also um able to like pick one or two things that you can add to whatever you're working on, um, or whatever project you're doing. So I think the introductions have been made. Um, and I think some of my colleagues are here. I saw Lolo earlier. She's also doing community building with me in EA Nigeria. I think I also saw Bulus at some point. He's one of the co-organizers of a university group in Bauchi State. Um, and so EA Nigeria is, I won't say a large community, it's a growing community. We're currently over like we have at least over 300 onboarded community members. So that is uh, people who went through maybe the intro fellowship program and then completed it and were later onboarded to the community. And one of the links they got during in their onboarding emails was the WhatsApp group link, and they joined. And then we also have other onboarding pipelines, like I think there's a quiz that someone can complete if you see it on our website. And if you get a certain score, we could onboard you and all of that. So I will just start my presentation uh, by sharing a few moments from last year, 2025. This is from our retreat in November 2025. I think we had 42 persons in attendance, and I don't think everyone is in this picture, but it was a good time being able to interact with community members who were looking towards working towards scaling their projects and trying to explore how they could scale their impact. So we had students, we have recent graduates, and a few mid-career professionals that attended this retreat. Yeah, and like I said, EA Nigeria is a growing community. So initially we planned to admit not up to 30 persons, but we got hundreds of applications, and we had to see how we could stretch our resources and capacity to accommodate more. This is from our meetup in Lagos, where we had a few community members come together in that city to discuss about career planning and how to make impact using our career. So this is also our meetup in Kano that also had the same theme. Kano is in northern Nigeria, Lagos is in southwestern Nigeria. This is in ATBU, that's in Bauchi State, where we had an intro talk about effective altruism. And, being that the population was mostly students, we also had discussions and had content around impactful career, things that impactful research, stuff like that, and how they can get involved, how they could take action. So this particular meetup also helped the group to start. So it was after this meetup that the organizers then, I think Bulus is by the top, by the right, was also there. And the group started officially after this meetup, I think a month or so. Then this is, we had EAGX July last year, and it was really great to see people from the country, Africa, and other community members come. As you can see, that's Estelle there. It was nice working with her and seeing her contribute to the success of this conference. And we also think that this has also set the pace for, similar kinds of conference in other African countries, as we may see probably within this year. Okay. Okay, this is a meetup we had in Abuja as well. All right, so I would like to define community in a few words. Please, this is not definite, just what I think a community is from, the work we've been doing and from how I've participated in community building. So I put it in 2 words. A community is a space for incubation, and it's also a space for collaboration. So a community is first of all a space. You can say it's a created space, where incubation takes place, collaboration happens. Under incubation, people learn, people grow, people take action. It's a place where someone should be curious enough to be a part of whatever is happening in the community and get to that stage where they are able to, they are self-motivated to deepen their engagement and take action in one way or the other. Secondly, space for collaboration, for networking, getting to know one another, meeting like minds, and being able to do awesome projects together, make an impact together, solving the world's most pressing issues together or contributing to that. So lessons, all these points I've put here sum up to one word, or like that sentence, of this sentence up here, that I've learned over and over again that community building is complex. It is complex because we are trying to solve a problem. We're looking for an outcome. We have an objective. But then there's the human interaction aspect of it. If you are not aware, maybe you should know now. I've come to understand that you cannot take away human relationships. You can't take away interacting with other people, or people getting into your space, calling you maybe at odd hours, sending you lots of messages to make inquiries, or ask for assistance or support in some way, ignoring your email and calling you and all those things, reaching out to you in ways that you probably are not very comfortable with. But I've come to accept it, and I think you should too if you're at that point, or if you've just started your own community building projects. And human interaction is complex, and every community has a face. If you don't know that, you need to know that. When we mention EA South Africa, who are the persons we can identify with EA South Africa, EA Ghana that just started, or Kenya, or Namibia and all of that. Somebody has to be not the celebrity, but the face. Like, we should be able to identify certain persons as the people leading that project, not just community building, but anything at all. In most projects, if you are doing any other projects that may not be community building related, because at the end of the day, collaborators, like potential funders and stakeholders, may beyond just your work and the great results you are having, may have more trust in you if they are just able to know who that work is related to, like they can put a face to the project. Yeah. Getting and making the best use of resources. I don't know about other groups, but this is something we are always working towards. We need resources, human resources, financial, name it. You need professionals to maybe facilitate your programs. You need a lot of things, and constantly learning how to make the best use, because it's not always there. Excuse me. Then there's the, M&E aspect of the work, making sure you're tracking the right metrics, uh, facilitating outcomes, the objectives for each activity, for each program, for each initiative. Sometimes it's not easy. Like, I personally want to see more projects happening in Nigeria. I personally want to see more community members taking action, getting involved, beyond just attending activities, calls, and all of that. Just doing something beyond that. And we try to, you know, curate content and things that can encourage this. But it's not always easy seeing those outcomes. The outcomes you look forward to seeing. The numbers sometimes may be discouraging when you're tracking, okay, how many people over the past 1 year have, taken any significant action, have done anything relevant. Sometimes, I don't know about you, but if you look at the numbers, sometimes, to be honest, it's not encouraging. But that is just to say it's part of how complex community building can be, uh, providing capacity support. Yeah, in as much as, we have ATK career advising, we have Probably Good, we have a few other organizations that support, that do some kind of capacity support, project incubation and all of that. There's still a very the chance for community members from Africa or even Nigeria to get into these programs or get access to some of these resources is not easy. It's going to be easier if we have, maybe, for instance, we have, let's say, Probably Good Nigeria. It's still doing what Probably Good is doing, but focusing more on a particular region. You now see that we're able to support more people with career advising, career transitions, and all of that. So sometimes we try our best as EA Nigeria to provide this support in the best ways that we can. We have volunteers volunteer with us from time to time. We do fiscal sponsorship for projects. There's, I think, an internship program we're trying to start now with maybe a few numbers of interns every 6 months or so, just to, while we're doing the work, we also have people who are benefiting. Like, we're also providing, we're also, they are what do they call it? We're increasing their capacity. We're providing support to their career growth, and all of that. And then sometimes, for instance, we have these community acts that we set up. So community members can reach out to us. They just fill a form. We have some questions that we ask them, and from there, most of these the requests that come from that, for instance, are career support related, like career advice, some resources related to, career growth and all of that. And we end up referring them to organizations like ATK, Probably Good, and all of that. But before we do that, we also try to provide contextualized support. Like, we are able to relate, we understand their problem more. We know what will work practically. We may not have all the resources, but we try to do the best we can before pushing them, to other organizations. So I wish that we're able to do this more, but it requires time. It requires a lot of planning, and yeah, sorry not to bore you with many things, but again, there's the communication aspect of it. Whether I like it or not, every EA community is an organization, no matter how small or big you think it is, and how people perceive your group matters. And sometimes it's not easy because at some point, I think community members thought our group was all about events. Like most of them thought, oh, EA Nigeria, they do a lot of events, you know. They are event organizers. They bring people, they'll send you, you know, they'll support you to come for their event, have a good time and go. So when we noticed that, we worked, we made our communication better. And this is not something you do once and leave. It's you always have to improve it. Please let me know if my time is going up. My time is maybe 5 minutes remaining.
Yeah, so yeah, Daniel, you can probably wrap up in the next 3 minutes if you want.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
All right, great. Thank you.
thanks for asking.
So, um, overcoming challenges. So this time around, we've decided to work with only strong whys. Like the reason or the if we need to do anything, the reason behind it must be strong. Even as a national group, if we are doing things like the intro fellowship program, why you need to evaluate the whys and they need to be strong. Like for us, it has to be strong. Do we really need to do an intro fellowship program? Is the reason strong? I think recently I was speaking with someone and I think we're having a chat. I think just recently. And we're like, do we just top of our head, do we really need to do intro fellowship program? We have university groups. Can't we just leave university groups to do the intro fellowship program and then we focus on other things, you know, things like that. But the message I'm trying to pass is we are only working with strong objectives because strong objectives will give us clearer metrics, you know, to track progress for anything we're doing. So providing more capacity support, uh, focusing on quality, not quantity. It's it should we it shouldn't be about the numbers. Numbers can be deceiving sometimes. I know EA will believe in data and all of that, but data varies, and sometimes numbers alone are not enough. When you compare deeper metrics or other kinds of metrics associated with those numbers, you'll see that the quality for different category of numbers are not the same. And I hope that you've been able to learn something here. And I will stop here for any questions that anyone may have. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for that concise presentation and sharing your experience, Daniel. But like Daniel said, the floor is open for questions. It's mostly going to be a question and answer session. I think Daniel is well experienced to answer almost all the questions, and that is what's most important. And I believe that's why most of us are also here. So yes, the floor is open for your questions. Just unmute or you raise your hand and then you can talk. Great. Navid's hand is up. Navid,
Yeah,
please give it a
hi.
go.
Yeah, I guess because EA Ghana is really in its very early stages. I
Mhm.
suppose if you were to go back to the early stages of EA Nigeria, is there anything you would tell yourself or do slightly differently?
Yeah, Navit, your question is causing me to reflect. So give me a few seconds. I've thought about it a few times. Um, I think one thing we would have done differently would have been to how do I put it? I think maybe have less social events, do more of professional events, and social events, for instance, like meetups. I think there was a time we had EA Nigeria meetup. So we had people from all over the country. Nigeria has 36 states with the capital 37. And I think community members came from all over in their numbers. And I think the content was uh, was touching many cost areas and all of that. And I don't think the impact was as it would have been if we decided to do more outreach with like professionals organizing specific workshops, like targeting, specific professionals or people who are exploring that course area to come together. They would have gotten more value. And I think we would have, we would have had a community that of people that are already probably taking action in this area. They are already doing something significant. Navid, I don't know if
Right.
I was clear.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Just as a bit of a follow-up, if you don't mind. Like how many, when you said you were doing too many socials at the start and not enough like professional events, can you give an idea of like roughly how many was too many? Because I also know from a community building perspective that socials are helpful to some degree, so it's good to know what that balance might be.
Yeah, so this kind of socials, I mean, they were like, I know we had a meetup, was it 2021 or 2022? So of course, we had maybe people up to 40 or 50 persons, I can't remember now, come for that. Of course, it was for, I think, 2 days. We had different discussions and all of that. It
Okay.
was still good. I mean, but I just felt that we would have been able to organize 2 or 3 workshops with the same with what we used for the
Fine.
meetup, for instance, and
Yeah,
then
makes sense.
it would have been more valuable. I mean, people would have found it more valuable.
Yeah.
Not saying socials. Okay, so let me just add to this. I forgot to mention it in our in my presentation. So I have community members come to me every now and then wanting to start uh, uh, groups, city groups, university groups, and all of that. We're excited. I mean, it's good. It shows that the group is growing. But at the same time, I try to like encourage them and let them know that, the long-term implication of the long-term, they should have long-term consideration for community building. How long do they want to do it for and all of that? Some people are just excited when they attend an
Yeah.
EA event
Yeah.
and then they think, oh, I can do this as well. So I try to encourage, okay, instead of going into community building, like I just think it's it will take a lot of time and commitment. Why don't you try social events? Try in your city, in your university, you could have a social, EA social, maybe lunch or breakfast on a Saturday morning, invite a few people, see how that turns out. And I'm
Right.
encouraging more of it now. Like,
Yeah.
yes, it's fine. You could do community building, but could you also try social events? It will even cost so much to run, you know.
All right.
That makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay, Daniel. Yeah, that's a great answer to a great question. Thanks for that. And yeah, it looks like a lot more people would like to also ask you some few questions. I saw Patricia had a hand up. So yeah,
Yeah, I
Patricia.
actually raised my hand to ask Daniel. You have a EA community in Lagos, some other place. Do you plan to have this EA across all the states in Nigeria? And how do you intend to carry them out? Because it's so essential that all the states in Nigeria should have this group. So do you plan to do that?
Well, I don't think it's up to us to start EA groups. We are only able to support. And I think the way the structure is, the EA groups that we have in other cities like Lagos, for instance, and other university groups do not report to us. They or like they are not under us per se. The people who started those groups are from our community, and it all started with like interest. They all had interest to start the groups, and we just supported based on we have more experience or started a group first, so we're able to provide mostly advice, things like that, in any way that we can. But we do not actually go around establishing groups, but always happy to support whoever intends to start a group. And we also have, for anybody who is intending, if you don't know, there's the organizer support program that is run by CEA. You could check it out if you intend to start a group in your region.
Great. Yeah, thanks for that one too. Abdullahi has his hand up.
I would like to ask you one question, and I see that you have like a huge amount of members, which is great success, mashallah. And how do you measure your outcome when it comes to success other than the membership? So do you consider how many people change their career pathways or their education? Like what type of, other than, yes, you said some people when they see EA they think it's event based only. So what other activities should someone expect to do other than events?
Great.
Okay, other than events. Okay, so I'll start with the first question you asked. So yeah, you mentioned maybe the number of people changing their minds towards an impactful career. This is a commonly asked question in any feedback we are sending for any event or instance. So yeah, we track things like that, and then depending on the program or event we're having and the objective, and sometimes you can't track the progress of a program right away. You may have to give it some time, 3, 4, 5, 6 months time, before you are able to tell if the participants put whatever they learned to practice or took any significant action. Yeah, and then we're also able to measure, I think you mentioned quality. Like by quality, I assume the number of people, again, taking action. Sorry, when I say action, for those who may not, it's maybe volunteering, or interning with a high impact organization, doing an effective giving, things like that, or starting starting an impactful project, things like that. So every year, by the end of every year, we have a review session where we just reflect, community members get to reflect on whatever they've done that year, and a survey is sent. So we were able to track progress over time with that survey. Please remind me the second question. I think is okay. You were talking about events, right? Yeah, Abdullah. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, my question was like, other than events, what other activities or things that EA in Prospective Africa they do?
Yeah, so we do other things. Like I mentioned, our community acts, for instance. So it's a form, right, where people who need support can always use to ask for support. So that way, we're able to track the trend of support over time, what the requests of community members look like over time. It gives us an idea of other kinds of programs we can that people need or that is needed in the community, maybe a workshop in a certain area,
Right.
things like that, and all of that. So we have not just events, so we have that where we also provide capacity support. Like we were able to help new projects start, offering advice, resources, things like that.
Okay.
Um,
So
yeah,
yeah,
so we also
Daniel,
like, oh, sorry.
sorry, Daniel. Yeah, it looks like you spend a lot of time on Abdullahi, and I'm sure
Oh,
his question is exhausted. We in the next 10 minutes, the objective is to reach as many people as possible who want to ask questions. So we just try to yeah, we know you are in the hot seat, but I know you try and keep it a bit shorter so that a lot more people can ask questions, because we also have organizers here who want to learn. So Anselm's hand
okay.
has been
Sorry,
up
I'm
for a
taking,
while.
but let me just add one more thing to
Okay.
Abdullah. Hear me?
Then after that, Anselm will ask his question.
Okay, great. I was going to add, oh, there was something I wanted to. Okay, so of course, there are also like reading groups on different course areas, for instance, that we hold from time to time, um, and some calls that we have from time to time to like deepen engagement with EA content, because in the community you have people who are just learning about EA, you have to carry them along. You have those who have learned to an extent and they're exploring what to do next. You still have to draft programs and content that will also accommodate them. And then, things like that.
Great.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Anselm.
Yes, thank you so much. I hope I'm being heard.
Yeah, I can hear you, Ansel.
Claire.
That they
Looks like
ensure
Anselm,
to keep the
you are
members
breaking off.
around. Like, let me see.
Hello,
Or
Anselm.
maybe let me type in the.
Yeah, I think it's a network, so you can just type in the chat box, and we will read it out. That is possible. Okay. And any other question? Is there anyone who has a question for Daniel? So Daniel, whilst we're waiting, you curious, how many city groups? I know Nigeria is very big, and yeah, unlike Ghana, we just started with EA Ghana, and compared to Nigeria, Nigeria is very big, so I can imagine the kind of Herculean task you have on your shoulders. How many city groups and should I say university groups do you have? Do you have any idea?
Well, for now, I know we have EA Lagos. That is, I think it's currently the only city group we have, but we are also aware that there's EA Jos that is starting this year. There's EA Enugu that is starting. So, and then there's Kano that will also start soon. So, I think we are going to have about 4 city groups starting this year, in addition to Lagos, making it 5. Then we have 4 university groups at the moment. Yeah, but like I said, we do not start these groups. Community members who had interest in started. Some groups even started without us knowing. We only got to know later on. But the good thing is they always reach out to us, you know, and
Great.
it's
Thanks
good
so much.
when you have, yeah.
Thanks so much, Daniel. Yeah, so yeah, you can read out Anslem's question now. For a community like EE Nigeria that has existed for a while now, what are some of the ways that they ensure to keep members engaged so they don't lose focus and morale over time? And I think this is a very important question. Daniel, did you get it? You can also read it in the chat box.
Yes, because what happens when you don't have an event or something else? I think we have things that are always happening regardless of whatever we have per time. We're always sharing opportunities in our WhatsApp group and on Slack. And not just us, community members also share opportunities. That's always happening. And we also have our opportunity board on the website. But apart from that, on the WhatsApp, people are always sharing opportunities. That's always happening. Yeah, and then calls, having monthly or bi-monthly calls, that also helps to keep up with engagement with EA content, increase learning, improve learning, stuff like that. So you could do, I think this is one from EA South Africa, which is very great. EA Nigeria also has community insight calls we do every now and then. I think other groups too have calls. You could even have things like reading groups from time to time. So these are ways people can continue to engage with EA content.
Fantastic. Any other questions? Okay, so maybe I'll ask another from the lot of questions we have prepared. In your opinion, what makes a group grow and sustainable, and what makes them die out?
Well, I think it's a bit broad, the question you're asking, in terms of what makes a group grow.
Yeah.
Growth, I don't know how to define growth in this context. But again, I'll say if it's growth in terms of, I like to see growth mostly in terms of people
achieving their goals, right?
Yeah, like people taking action, people doing something, not just being a part of our activities and all of that. So if we see those numbers increasing and all of that, then I know that is growth. I would appreciate that. In other parts of the world, they may see growth as something else. What was the second question you asked?
What could make a group die out? What are some of the factors that could make a group die out?
Yeah, I think it's mainly on the organizers. So that is why, like I mentioned earlier, while people are excited to start their own groups, I always take time to let's discuss the long-term considerations for this, like the implication of them wanting to, starting a group. Do they have the time? Will they have the availability? Things like that, and all of that. So I think it's mainly the organizers. As far as you have people who are passionate about community building and really want to do it, the group will be sustained. But the moment you have people losing interest, organizers losing interest, and all of that, it becomes a challenge. So I don't know how we can deal with this problem, but I think it's a main factor.
Right. Perfect. Thanks for that. Anyone has a question? In the chat box is saying, is there EA Nigeria's WhatsApp group? Like, I think Patricia is asking for EA
Yeah,
Nigeria's WhatsApp
yeah,
group.
there is.
We have.
I think there is. I think I've met Patricia before. Sorry,
Mhm.
for thinking out loud, but I'll reach out to you with the
Yeah,
details. I think I have your email or we met on Swapcard, and I will send you the link.
fantastic. All right. So we still have about 3 minutes to go. Does anyone have a quick question? EA South Africa Priscilla is saying EA South Africa is great when it comes to sharing information and opportunities. I believe for EA to grow, efforts must also come from willing participants and keep engaging the organizers. Yeah. Estelle is great at all I have mentioned above. Yeah, of course. Fantastic. You can say that again. And thanks for that compliment. So
Yeah, it's
something,
true. All of it is true.
yeah, something for us all to learn from. And obviously, we can also learn from EA Nigeria. They've done so much. They've organized so many activities, and including their summit, and they still keep doing a lot. And yeah, Daniel has shared a lot with us so far. Right. So any other question?
If there's no question, can I add one more
Yeah,
thing?
sure. Daniel, please.
Yeah, thank you. Just to emphasize on my last point. So I think it may be a difficult conversation, but it's a necessary conversation that organizers need to have within themselves and with themselves if there are others. So what happens? What really happens when you feel burnt out or you need to leave community building, or stop doing community building? You need to consider transitions. Oh, can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear, and I'm sure everyone can hear you.
Oh, okay, great. So I'm just saying to keep our groups moving, we also have that responsibility, maybe for current or new organizers. I mean, you may not organize, a time may come, you may need to move to other things and all of that. I think there's a quote that I heard from someone that I think you're not truly successful if you don't hand over successfully, or whatever you're doing is not like success is not measured during your time, it's measured after you have left. So I think it's important we consider this long term. Thanks.
All right. Thanks for that, Daniel. And yeah, all too soon. So just when we were enjoying the discussions, it's already time, but I'll give Jojo who is there? Is it Jojo? I'll give their hands is up, so I'll give them a chance quickly, just in a minute.
All right.
Right.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone.
Yeah,
I'm
hi.
so happy to meet some of you that we already had in our last year introductory program. I can see Mrs. Stella is there and Ms. Shangeta also. It's my EA Namibia facilitator. So I would just want to say thank you so much for this insightful and inspiring session. We truly appreciate the time and knowledge and the patience that you are sharing with us today. It has been both enlightening and motivating, and we are grateful. Like, I'm really, really grateful for the opportunity to learn and connect. And I look forward to staying engaged and taking meaningful action. So I really
Yeah.
thank you for this session. It was so important.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic, Jojo. I'll take that as a vote of thanks. Okay. Thanks for that. So we sign off. It's just a brief announcement of our next session. The role of national laboratory systems in the context of global health security. That's going to be our next speaker, and he's in the person of Jeffrey Jagero. Jeffrey is the current president of, Biosecurity Management Association of Kenya. And he's also a lecturer at Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology. I think it promises to be another great session. And that is happening on the 19th, which is, I think, next week. So let's make a date and meet again. Thank you.
Thank
you for
you.
passing by.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Bye,
Daniel.
everyone.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Keep safe, everyone.
Thanks, Randy, for hosting.
Thanks, Estelle, for the support.